Hey everybody, this is Dr. William Clark, your professor for MBA 610 Leading Organizations and People at the University of Maryland. I'm glad to be with you. Wanted to record a video to walk through some tips and tricks that will help you be successful in writing your situation audit, which is our second project here. And I wanted to spend some time reviewing that particular project because that's where most students kind of get caught in the trap of overthinking the assignment. And I just wanted to walk through this and point out some things for you that's really going to matter. Let me just say this, and hopefully, this is not the first time you're hearing this, but the milestones for each project is vital for your success. And the reason I say that is because each milestone is designed to give you mile markers to check in, to do pieces of a larger assignment in smaller chunks. And when you do them in smaller pieces, you're given the opportunity to get feedback from me along the way. You can make adjustments along the way. And when that final assignment of that project is due for grading, all you got to do is put the pieces of the puzzle that you've been building together and create that final submission that will be graded. Hopefully, you've taken the feedback I provide to heart, you've made the adjustments that are necessary, and you are able to submit a successful assignment with the grade that you are intending to receive. Now, I want to make sure and remind you also that every video and every script and every ounce of content in every step is there for your benefit. So please take the opportunity and time to review it and to familiarize yourself with that information. Now, I also want to make sure here that you focus on the fact that your assignments are required to be in APA format. There's a link here that takes you to how to do that for in-text citations, authors, titles, etc. So please, please, please utilize that resource. It is a valuable resource for your writing, not only for this course, but the remainder of the courses you'll be taking at University of Maryland. Now, I want to focus the majority of my time on the outline of the situation audit. And the situation audit outline is provided here in step one of the project two. So once you click on that link there, it'll take you to the situation audit template. And there are a number of items that you got to cover. And I want to make sure that I provide you with the best information possible so that you can write the best project possible and get the best grade possible. So let's start at the top. Let me just say this outline is not optional. It is required for you to submit with your for your project. So file the outline to the T. I would pay attention to the page limits for every section. So if the cover page is not including your page limit, obviously that makes sense, right? But if the executive summary is one page and not included in the page limit, limit it to the one page. However, when you skip down to mission, vision, values, and goals, it's a one pager. All right, versus organizational size and structure, that's 2 to 3 pages. Okay, that gives you some range there. There have been times where students would write something and they would write half of a page and create more spaces other than the double spaces and try to stretch it out as much as possible. It's not worth it. Now, when you go back to one of my original comments, which is when you take every assignment, every milestone as pieces of a puzzle and you put your all into those smaller chunks week to week, you will notice at the end of the semester when the situation audit is due, or not the end of the semester, but you'll notice when the situation audit is due that you'll have the pieces of the puzzle put together and you're not doing extra work when it's due for grading. And so I encourage you as you're doing your milestone assignments, keep in mind the page count for each section because I will be evaluating that. That determines, it's a part of determining the quality of your writing. It's a part of determining the effort you put into each section and the overall project. I will tell you also something like organizational structures and size. Some students have been known to utilize org charts to take up space. That does not count. This is a writing assignment, so do not allow images to be the reason why a section of your paper is 2 to 3 pages long. I am looking for your writing. I'm looking for your thinking, your analysis to be the leading indicator of a quality paper. The other thing I'll point out, and this is something that might be a really good tip going forward, but I'm going to request that you do this, is to use the section headers that are listed in the outline as a way of organizing your work. Now, if you look at the page limits here that are provided by the outline and you follow them to the T, you should be ideally writing the page limit for each section, and each new section should receive its own new page. Right. So if you are writing, for instance, strategy types and competitive advantages, and that's 2 to 3 pages, and let's say you write 3 pages, or let's say you write 2.5 pages, you don't want to start the next section of organizational size and structure, which is another 2 to 3 page section, halfway in the middle of the second, halfway in the middle of the third page of the previous section. Just simply create a new page, put the headers there for the new section, put it in bold, and begin writing your next section. That serves a number of key and strategic purposes. One, for your benefit, it allows you to see how long each section is in real time. Number two, it simplifies the writing process so that you can focus on one section at a time, especially if you're putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Number three, for future purposes, for future assignments, and I can't speak for other professors, but I can tell you as from a writing perspective, it helps you simplify the writing process overall. So if you start with section headers and begin to write your assignments in outline form so that you can quickly get your thoughts on paper and then convert those outlines to paragraphs, etc., that section header helps you organize your thoughts and to separate thoughts from other thoughts so that you can focus on what you want to focus on. And then the other benefit for me as I'm reading rather your assignments, it allows me to jump to the sections that I want to focus on, or go back to other sections that I need to reread because of something you wrote later in the paper, etc. It allows me to also to look at the page count effectively. So it helps you and it helps me. And that, my friend, I think is probably one of the biggest tips I wanted to share with you. Section headers make a difference, and section headers, quite frankly, can be used not only for the situation audit, but it can be used for the other assignments you have for this particular course, whether it's the memo, whether it's the PowerPoint, etc. Using headers can make a significant difference in helping you structure your writing, as well as helping the professor, in this case me, review the assignments that you are completing. Now, at the end of the outline, it says that this particular project cannot exceed 15 to 20 pages. Now, remember, just scrolling back up here, the cover page, the executive summary, and references, and the agenda or the table of contents, the addendum, and the table of contents are not included in the 20-page count. So the 20-page count maximum is just for your original authentic writing. And that's another point. No plagiarism. We will evaluate that. We count that as well. We catch that stuff. So your original writing. And just let me go back to plagiarism for a second. Uh, there are a bunch of reasons why students feel the need to plagiarize. Let me just tell you, APA format is intended for you to give credit where credit is due. Number two, one of the ways to fight plagiarism is to break down assignments in smaller chunks. Fortunately for you and for me, the University of Maryland provides that already as a function of the course design, which is one of the reasons why I love teaching at this university. The milestones are simply just breakdowns of a larger assignment. And for most students, when they come and they get their bachelor's or their master's or their doctorate, they struggled over time with organizing their time, organizing how to utilize their time, or organizing their work. And the University of Maryland has simplified that process by giving you milestones. If you take nothing else away from this MBA course, I want you to take away the planning that went into the course design and the strategy of this course, which is break up the assignment in smaller chunks. Project 1, Project 2, 3, and 4 are broken up in smaller chunks. And if you just do one step at a time, on time, on schedule. Hopefully, life has not gotten in the way, work hasn't gotten in the way. But if you stay on schedule, you'll notice that these little chunks, these little pieces create this masterpiece at the end of the period where you're submitting a beautiful project. That's a collage of smaller steps that you've taken throughout the journey to get that done. So while this seems daunting to get 20 pages done, I'm hopeful that you use this course as an opportunity to learn how to do a big project in smaller pieces and to use that to your advantage. Now, that's actually all I wanted to share with you about the situation audit. Again, there are milestones associated with the situation audit. Take advantage of take advantage of the milestones, which means take advantage of me. Take advantage of me providing feedback and insight into various sections of the milestone, and for that matter, various sections of each project that you are completing. Utilize me, ask me questions. I'm going to provide feedback, pointed feedback, if you will, at specific sections that may not be up to snuff or may be missing stuff, or you may not have fully thought through a section. And if there's a section that has done well, you'll just simply get a good work from me and keep moving. But my feedback is going to be very pointed. So I hope you find that useful and helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me via the information provided in the syllabus. And I look forward to learning with you this semester.